Hi, I'm Annie Ulichny, and it's always a privilege to be here to share practice time. So let's get comfortable on our seats and close our eyes, breathing in and out of our nose, having our hands comfortably relaxed. We're going to start with our 3 breaths. And the first breath is a deeply fulfilling, deeply rich breath to kind of bring us into the here and now and start to feel within the body. Maybe we could imagine being on the top of a mountain or watching an eagle soar overhead, perhaps even seeing a beautiful butterfly landing on a flower. It's just a deeply enriching, fulfilling breath to bring us in, bring us back to here and now. And the second breath we'll take right now is just your ordinary breath. We're going to follow our breath without trying to control it, feeling the difference between that breath and the first breath. And then the third breath, we could imagine offering deep, tender, soft care to ourselves. The in-breath is very slow and intentional self-care, true self-care. We could even imagine, if it helps us to get to this kind of feeling, imagine we're holding a newborn baby and how soft and intimate and gentle we need to be right in that moment. Okay, as we get started here, I thought I would share one of the benefits that I've personally experienced with meditation. And it's something that's all around us and also within us. And it's something that the thinking mind is very involved in. We've talked about the thinking mind, the 2 aspects of our mind, which is kind of this present aware consciousness that we have, and then also this stream of thoughts, this thinking, this inner voice that's constantly speaking, constantly thinking. It's not something we can control, but it is something that we can start to become more aware of, and also become more aware of this conscious, aware part of our mind as well. And one of the features and favorite aspects for me of understanding meditation and mindfulness is recognizing how much the thinking mind does not like change. Simple change, change happening, things always happening. And there's this in the thinking mind, there's this resistance to anything changing. It's kind of like a loss of control. And the thinking mind is always trying to control. And thinking mind is always trying to kind of create scenarios of possible disturbances or problems. And the thinking mind likes to resist changes and anything that changes. And so what I find as a wonderful benefit of meditation is that we learn to kind of ride the wave of change more easily. And this wave of change is constantly happening within us and all around us. And yet the thinking mind, it's gripped and it's tight and it's holding on, and it doesn't want to let go of things that it wants the way a certain way. And so this wave of change is what we can work with within meditation. And it can help us to just kind of be a little bit more accepting and peaceful, and just a little bit more flexible about things happening that maybe we wish didn't happen. It's usually the thinking mind kind of pulling us into those types of thoughts and holding us there. So we're going to work with this wave of change. What I'd like to maybe just quickly also mention, as before we get into the meditation, is that, and this helps me to also accept change a little bit more when I'm feeling very rigid about something that's occurring that I don't like. Every moment of our entire life has been unique and different from every other moment of our entire life. There is nothing that repeats, just based on our cellular makeup, based on our, the aging process that all of us go through, based on everything external around us is constantly changing. The weather is constantly changing. Nature is constantly changing. Migration patterns of birds, we're starting to come up onto fall migration of birds, and there's a constant momentum of change and renewal and evolution. And the thinking mind is really only the part of us that wants to hold on to anything changing. And yet, really, in terms of the way the flow of life happens, as a part of nature and as a law of nature, is everything does change. So this wave of change is something that we can work with, and it really will help us to just feel a little bit more settled and a little less anxious during our day, when we can start to let go of those small things that we start to realize we're trying to control, and yet they're things that are just going to change, and there's really nothing we can do about it. So we might as well kind of just let go a little bit and open up and relax with what changes. So with that, we're going to be doing some breathing techniques. It's called 12-fold belly breathing. And we've practiced different forms of this already together. And we're going to do 2 sets of this so that you know what to expect. The first will just start to work with the practice. And please don't try for any kind of perfection. There's no such thing. This is just practice. Just do what you feel is right for you during the practice. And don't worry if it feels like it's wrong. Just let the body be your guide, and just work with it. And don't worry about any outcome or if you're doing it right. Just try it. Just try the practices. So the first thing we'll do is come into our comfortable meditation posture. And we'll start with our feet and feel our feet flat on the floor, and feel our seat and the weight of our seat resting on the cushion or the chair underneath us, and feeling the shoulders and the upright spine. Just noticing as we start to just gently tune into ourselves, and then we can close our eyesight down. And we're going to spend all of these meditations breathing in and out of the nose, as long as that's comfortable for you. And so we'll just dig a little deeper within. We'll start to explore the living space, the living felt space within. So again, we'll travel back down. We'll use this conscious, aware, focused mind, this part of our mind that we can focus and direct where our attention goes. And we'll bring it down to our feet and start to feel the soles of our feet kind of developing almost this connection, this rooted connection to the floor and the earth below. Our feet are always, usually, most of the time, in some way with contact to the floor, to the earth, with gravity. So we can start to recognize this stability that's here through this connection. And then we could notice our seat and our sit bones, and really all the weight of our upper body and our torso just resting, relaxing without struggle, and kind of pressing down through our sit bones, through our seat, and being held here, again with gravity. And sometimes we can notice that we might be pulled into this thinking mind, this stream of thoughts, worrying about something that's going to happen this afternoon, or caught up, kind of pulled into a conversation maybe we had yesterday, and it's just churning around, circling around in our thinking mind, and we're pulled into it. We can start to notice when that happens and come back into the body right now. What is the living, feeling expression happening within the body? can we start to feel this alive energy, this little life force that kind of feels like electrical current. We maybe can even focus even more closely into the backs of our legs, the sit bones, the seat, and see if you can come as close as possible to the connection between our seat, our legs, and the chair you're sitting on. And start to feel that shimmery, vibrational, energetic quality. And again, noticing when we get pulled into the thinking mind, and we can be gentle here and just let it continue to do what it needs to do. Let the thinking mind, that river of thoughts, just let them continue down the river, and we take our focus and we direct it through our spine, feeling along the back line, just grounding ourselves and stabilizing ourselves, feeling what's happening within our body, this inner life that we have that we really don't pay too much attention to. You could feel along the front of our chest area, from our rib cage, diaphragm, noticing if there's any tightness that's here or softness. Paying attention to the energetic quality along the chest and up through the neck into the shoulders. We hold on and grip in our shoulders. There's a safety quality that kind of resides in our shoulders. Can we notice that perhaps that's here for us and we can just let it go? Coming up through the back of the head into the forehead. If we spend a lot of time in front of computers or on screens, noticing we might feel a tightness in our forehead, between our eyebrows, around the eyes. And when we notice this, we try to not be critical of it, just recognize that it's here. And with our focused conscious awareness, we can invite a softness within. We can invite a letting go. We notice that there's a tightness around the eyes. And then just soften the jaw, the back of the jaw, maybe release the jaw, just slightly open. And then we come to the breath. And knowing on the in-breath that we're breathing in. And on the exhale that we're breathing out. And we'll stay here again with our eyes closed if that's comfortable, breathing in and out of the nose, getting a sense of how we're feeling in the entire body. Just without being critical or judgmental, just noticing what's here, being an observer, without trying to push anything away, just staying open to whatever is here. Any openness, spaciousness, softness, as well as any tightness, any constriction. Just recognizing that we usually carry both most of the time. So we're going to take 12 breaths. And the breaths we're going to use with our open conscious mind, where we can use our focus. We can also use our imagination here. And this is where we're going to create kind of this imagining, if it helps us and supports us. Breathing in, and the breath is going in and filling up from the nostrils, through the back of the throat, down through the diaphragm and lungs, and all the way down to the belly. And as the breath travels down, we could imagine that there is a balloon, a very soft balloon in the lower belly, and it's filling up. So our belly is extending in front of us. We can feel our body moving all the way through the torso, all the way down to the belly on the in-breath. And then on the exhale, we press the belly button back toward the back line, back toward the spine, and release the air starting from the lowest part of the belly all the way up and out. So we really imagine, fully immerse as much as you can, all of your focus into feeling the in-breath coming in, going down, filling up the breath, all the way down to the lower belly, and then releasing. And you start the exhale from the lower belly, pressing back on the belly button and releasing all of the air up and out through the nostrils. Noticing the movements of the body, noticing the sensations that are happening in the body as the breath comes in and the breath goes out. So we'll keep using this practice, this deep, deep, elongated, slow, intentional, focused belly breathing. Notice if you get pulled into thoughts and come back to wherever you are in the cycle of the breath. Stay in the felt sense within the body, the imagination of the balloon in the belly, if that helps you. And we do roughly 12 or so of these breaths. And as you start to practice, you might notice it becomes a little easier now that the body has gotten used to it and our focus on the breath has gotten used to this wave of this breath. So take one more inhale like this and exhale. And on the bottom of the exhale, just really press every bit of stale air out on the exhale so your belly button is back toward your backbone. And still remaining with our eyes closed, breathing through the nose, in our posture, just come back to your regular, ordinary breath. And our focus is following the breath. Just let the breath breathe itself and let go of trying to control any bit of the breath on the inhale and the exhale. We were controlling it with the 12-fold belly breathing, and now we're letting it lead. Notice how the body is feeling. So now on the second set, we're going to add one little element, and that's the ocean breath. On the exhale, we're going to press against the back of your throat, again with the mouth closed, but if the mouth were open, it would sound like a hissing, oceany kind of a noise. So you're putting that much pressure against the back of your throat to kind of make a hissing noise on the exhale. This is triggering the vagus nerve to let the body in sync with the mind and the brain know everything is okay. So let's go ahead and take these breaths, inhaling, again, a long, deep inhale, elongated all the way down to the belly, expanding the belly. And then the exhale is the hissing noise, pressing against the back of your throat just slightly. Just keep working with this practice. Don't worry about perfection. Stay focused as you can with your alert, conscious, present focus. We're putting all of the thinking mind in the background. Feel the sensations in the body. Sometimes that can help us stay focused instead of getting pulled into thoughts. And if we're really feeling restless for some reason, come very specifically to one specific place within the body. The more focus we can bring if we're feeling restless, it might help support being present. So we'll take one more inhale and exhale. And on the exhale, you're going to release every bit of air. And so your belly button is really pressed back comfortably, but with a bit of an exertion, you're releasing every bit of stale air all the way to the bottom of the breath. And then let the breath come back to its normal rhythm, its comfortable rhythm. Let the breath breathe itself. Just follow that. Notice how the body feels. Notice how the mind might have changed or shifted from when we started. The thinking mind may have eased up a little bit as we've strengthened our ability to focus and stay consciously present. Notice if you feel that electrical current within the body. And just like all of the changes that happen all around us all day long, every day, things are constantly changing, evolving, shifting, moving. The waves of changes are happening within us. And we've been able to strengthen this very positive, healthy, restorative part of ourself, regulating our nervous system from the inside out. So sometimes the waves of change are very, very positive, and they can help us be flexible and accepting when external things happen in our life that might cause us some challenge. We can start to see them from a slightly more open perspective. I'd like to thank you for your time as we practice together.